sales objections. They can absolutely kill us dead in the design room. Sometimes a client will love the pictures, but then they just come out with that one line and then you don't know where to go from there. Things like, we're moving house, so I don't even know where it would go. Or, I don't have the space for something that big in my house. I haven't got any wall space at all. Maybe it's a case of we just want the 2 prints, or you're too expensive. My religious beliefs won't allow me to put stuff up on the walls, or my landlord won't. These are all genuine objections that I'm sure you've heard in the design room, and we used to get them. Now, this short video is going to go through how to handle literally any objection that comes up. And if you stick around till the end, you'll be at a situation where these objections don't even come up in the design room for us anymore, because we make it so that the only question that does come up is just, do you want to pay cash or card? Now, there's a couple of things we need to go through first, and these are really important. And this is the most important thing. It's your mindset, okay? You've got to be in the right frame of mind to get the sale. The amount of times I've seen people go into the design room and they've read the notes on the shoot, or maybe the client has said something, I just want to get a couple of prints. And so we go into that design room with that thought in our head going, it's not going to be a big sale. This is going to be difficult. They're going to throw out left, right and center, and you know, I'm not in my A game. And so we think they're going to buy 2 prints, and so they do buy 2 prints. It's almost like we're manifesting it and making it happen. Now, mindset is everything. If you go in with the attitude of, okay, I know what the objections are already going to be because we've already gone through them, so they're now out of the way, then that changes everything. A big game changer straight away is thinking about a client out there who goes, I've looked at your product guide and it's just so expensive, I just can't afford it. Now, the old school you would possibly panic and worry going, oh my God, they think I'm too expensive, this is going to be so difficult. But actually stop and think what's happened there. The client wants to buy from you. They just told you, look, I'm looking to buy from you, but I've looked at the product guide and it's just far too expensive, okay? That is a godsend to me. What I hear there is the client wants to buy, and my product guide has done the right thing. It's got them to look at it and they've understood the cost of things. My product guide's set up so that when I get into the design room and I'm with the client, they will have already seen the product guide, they've looked at stuff, they'll have set a bit of a budget, but more importantly, that now works hand in hand with the packages and the offers I'm going to give to them, so that they then see the value of these packages, and it makes it a lot easier for them to get a client who is coming in with a smaller budget to then go, I will take the £1,500 package, if that makes sense. So that's the first thing. So don't be scared of people being scared of your product guide. That's, you know, that's almost its job, if you like. The next thing is, a lot of people out there are talking about how things have changed and finances are difficult for people, and people just don't have as much disposable income anymore, or people are struggling to make ends meet and things. This is very, very true, okay? But the amount of money out there hasn't changed. It's just moved, and it's in different places. Now, be honest and think about it. People coming into your studio are not those who are struggling to make ends meet, okay? People will use this as a sales objection, but in all honesty, people who can't, who don't have the disposable income, they're not waking up one day going, we've got no money. I know, let's go book a photo shoot. That sounds like a good idea. So again, this is the mindset. If you start to think that people don't have the money and maybe I need to lower my prices, you are on a downward slope, okay? And it's a race to the bottom at that point. So mindset is everything. If you can get into the right mindset, you will go into that design with your A game. And the more objections that the client has thrown out to you, the better prepared you're going to be for when you're in this design. So don't be scared of objections. And I'm talking from experience here. I used to be terrified of things and be like, I don't really want to speak to the client, before the design, because they're going to tell me I'm too expensive, or they're going to say I can't afford this, or I don't know where it's going to go. Whereas now I thrive for that stuff because I can handle that objection. Now, if we go through the types of objections that there are, there's a never-ending list. You could have, like we said before, I can't put stuff up on the walls because my landlord says I'm not allowed to put nails in the wall, or I just don't have a wall big enough, or I'm moving house. These are all genuine things that people will say to us. Now, I'm not going to go through every single one of these objections and give you a script for each and every single one, just because it'll be a never-ending list, and then you're going to worry and panic about what should I say for this objection, what should I say for that objection. For us, the way we treat objections are like smoke screens. So if somebody says to me, I just don't have space for this big frame on the back, there's nowhere where that would go in my house, I just don't have the space whatsoever. What I'm hearing there is not that they don't have the space, they don't know the space where it's going to go to. So, and that's a really important thing, because again, let's say they say, well, we're moving house, and so we don't know where it's going to go in the house. Okay, well, does that mean you don't know where your sofa's going to go in the new house? You know, you don't know where your TV is going to go, you don't know where the furniture's going to go, the bedroom, and things like that? Of course they do. When people go into a new house to go and buy it, they look around and they start to visualize themselves in there and seeing how their life's going to be, and they get excited about decorating this area and things like that. So they do. So for me, I see that as a smokescreen. That's not the real reason you don't want to buy this wall art. There's something else. What is it? And it typically comes down to just one of two reasons, in all honesty. It will be that they don't know where it's going to go, and they are scared of making an expensive mistake. They might buy a piece of wall art that is too big and it just doesn't look right. Or they buy a piece of wall art that is too small, and so they put it up and again it doesn't look right. They've been better off going for something a little bit extra, but at that point it's too late. Or they don't know where it's going to go at all in the house, and that kind of couples hand in hand. Now for us, we're the experts with this. So when your client comes to you, they need to borrow your confidence and they need to borrow your expertise. Yes, they know their house and they know they've got a sofa here and they want maybe something there, but they don't know what they want there. Now you sell this wall art all day, every day. So you are the expert, whether you believe it or not. And you know, you can advise your client on what should go where, what is going to look best, because you want it to look good for them and you don't want them to make any sort of financial mistakes. So if you watch the other video that I've done on visualizations on how we get the client to start seeing your wall art in their house on a wall above the sofa or above the dining table or wherever it is that they've said they wanted to get something. Because if we can get them to do that in the shoot or on the phone call before they get to the design, then it makes the objections start to disappear. Because all of a sudden then I'm not saying, well, I don't know what wall that would go on or where it would fit. Now there's other things that you can put in there. So like for us, and I'm sure you've got the same thing, you know, in our studio, in our design room, we've got lots of wall art everywhere. I make sure that it's my mission to get the biggest piece of wall art on one of our smallest walls. So I will do a video to show you our studio and our design room. What you'll see on that is in our design room, we have a fireplace with 2 alcoves. And so in one of the alcoves, we have a really big frame. Really big, and it doesn't look out of place. So any client that says to me, I just don't have the room for that, my response straight away is, oh right, well it's funny that, because that's one of our most popular ones and it's on the smallest wall here. Or I have a collection and it's above a 3-seater sofa. Some people say we don't have the space for that. I can go, have you got, you know, you think of putting something above the sofa? How many seats is the sofa? So again, I wouldn't ask somebody what's the measurements on it, because nobody knows the measurements on a sofa. But they know if it's a 2-seater, they know if it's a 3-seater, they know if it's a 4-seater. And typically sofas tend to be roughly the same size depending on the number of seats they have. So if somebody says it's a 3-seater, which is the most typical size sofa out there, then we can turn around and go, oh well, this is fantastic because that fits perfectly above that. If you guys stand up and look at the sofa and see that there, it works really well. So again, we kill that objection dead there. But at the moment, if I'm just talking about, well, that fits on this wall, that fits above that sofa there. If I'm talking like this, then I'm still at a stage where I'm just trying to sell pretty pictures in pretty frames that fit above a sofa or fit in an alcove or fit on a wall. When more importantly, if I can couple this with having conversations in the photo shoot about the visualization, it needs to be brought into a conversation. Just so, where are you guys thinking of putting this? Most people put it in a room, they spend the most time together as a family. Where's that view? Is that like the living room, kitchen, dining room? Living room, amazing. So where are you thinking in the living room? Thinking like above the sofa, or is it on above the fireplace? Above the sofa, fantastic, amazing, right? Well, at least you know, why would say, guys, start thinking about budget, start thinking about what's going on there, you know, size-wise, you know, have a look around the studio whilst we're doing the shoot. You know, do you like this collection we've got here? Do you prefer more square pictures here? So again, if I can start bringing out conversations like that, you know, the clients then start to think about it in the shoot, and you're not selling them anything in the shoot, because it's when they come back to the design consultation that they start to buy. So if I can do that, then they can throw out the lines, well, do you know what, I'm not too sure, to be fair, because we haven't really got the wall space. Now, that one, I'm sure you hear, we don't really have the wall space. Stop and think about it. So they clearly don't live in a house that's just one room with 4 walls. There are multiple rooms, there are multiple walls. Now, if you've got a client who genuinely doesn't have the wall space, that must mean the walls are full of pictures and shelves and whatever else. Okay, so that means they value pictures and frames and canvases. So you've got a good client there. Now, one of the tips that I would always say is, if you're talking to a client and they have stuff on the walls, you don't want to say, take that down, get rid of it, let's get ours up on there, okay? Because you don't know what the attachment is to that piece of wall art. Now, let's say they've come in for a family shoot, but actually they've got some old family pictures up there. Maybe they've got, you know, mum, dad and baby, but now they've come to see you to get updated family pictures because there's a new addition to the family. Now, we don't want to say take them down, get rid of them, because they might have really sentimental value to those, but that's where it would look great for you to put something. And it's the only place you can really get them to choose. So you want, rather than take them down and get rid, guys, is there anywhere in the house where we could repurpose those? What about if they went up the stairs, or maybe in the nursery or something like that, or maybe on the landing, or maybe in the dining room, and try and help them get them to move it. It's a lot easier for a client to agree with you and say, oh yeah, we'll move them, that's fine. And so, you know, again, when anybody says to you or gives you an objection, 9 times out of 10, it will be a case of it's just a smokescreen. There's another underlying reason, and we need to figure out what that is, and then we can handle that. And I always break it down to, like I say, those 2 points. One, I don't know where it's going to go. Because I don't know where it's going to go, I'm scared I might make a financial mistake here and either buy too much or too little. So actually the safe bet is to go for the cheaper option. And I can always get another shoot at another time once, you know, I'm in a bit of a, you know, I know what I'm going to do with it. You might also get people turning around to you saying, well, we're going to decorate, so I don't really know where stuff's going to go or what's going to go with it. We get that all the time. And that's a very easy one. This one I will tell you what to say on this. So for us, we always turn around and go, oh, right, well, what I would suggest is go for black frames, okay? Think about your TV. Once you finish decorating, you don't go out and buy a brand new TV, do you, with a wooden frame, because that'll fit better. TVs are black for a reason. It goes with everything. So my advice is go for black. It kills it dead. They can't argue that whatsoever. So, you know, again, the ultimate reason that they're giving us this sales objection of, well, we're decorating, we don't know what, you know, what's going to go best. It will be because they don't know. So even though that kills that bit dead, if I can couple it with the visualization that I've already done, and go, you know, and that's why that would look great above the sideboard you were talking about, then, you know, it makes it a lot easier. The customer just needs to have confidence that they're making the right decision, okay? And so long as they do that, they will make the purchase for you. That's pretty much it. Now, one of the key things that I did say before was, in the design room, we try and get it so that the only question that comes up is it cash or card? Now, to do that, you have to bring up every objection that you can and deal with it before they get to that design room. So that is done on the phone call, it's done in the photo shoot, and it's really important that between the photo shoot and when they come back for the design consultation, that there's a phone call made in between. And it's just a, hi, how you doing? It's Mark, I'm just gonna do a quick call. I'm just putting your design together now. Just wanted to ask a quick couple of questions. Just, you know, what kind of stuff are you guys liking? Do you prefer more square frames? Do you like, you know, more landscape frames, things like that? Do you prefer canvases and frames, albums? What is it that you guys like? And then you just have a conversation with them. You're not gonna go, and is there any objections? You just wanna get a bit of a chat with them. There's not a script for this. If they've got an objection, they'll throw it out. Now let's say they say you're too expensive. Really? Do you know what? We never get that. We're definitely you know, not the cheapest, but we're nowhere near the most expensive out there. The great thing is when you come back, you know what we charge and stuff, and we don't do any sort of hard selling. And we genuinely don't do any sort of hard selling. So, you know, for me, again, if you just analyze what I said there, I will agree with them, but I'll start on the negative, finish on the positive. So I will go, we're not the cheapest. That's the negative. Follow it up, any negativity with a positive reframing. So we're not the cheapest, but we're definitely nowhere near the most expensive. Now, there will always be somebody cheaper than you, so do not have a race to the bottom. There will also be somebody who's more expensive than you, definitely. So, you know, do not worry about pricing. You need to price what is right for you. And again, that's a completely different video that I've already done. So if you want to have any advice on pricing, go and have a look at that. That's pretty much objection handling. If you understand the underlying reason, there's not a single objection that can come out. And for me, when I'm in the design room, the best bit for me isn't when we get the nice big sale and it goes through the chip and pin or they pay cash or however they do it. For me, my enjoyment comes from a brand new objection coming out and getting thrown at me that I've not heard before. And I'm able to handle it, and it kills the objection dead and we get the sale. I love it because then I come out and I feel like a real, like, that was great, that I got satisfaction out of that, because I don't force any of my clients to buy my pictures. I don't need to, because we make sure we concentrate on the experience. We make sure we try and understand what the real objection is, not the smoke screen, and the pictures sell themselves. All we do is give them a nice little gentle nudge all the way through, just a little bit of direction. The client will spend what they want to spend and they leave happy, and we get thank you cards and gifts, and you'll do the exact same thing. Hope you found this useful, guys. Please give me a like and a subscribe. We just hit 500 subscribers today, which I am absolutely over the moon with. So thank you very much for subscribing. Please put in the comments what sort of objections you get and anything that you're struggling with, and I'll hit you up on the next video and I'll go through on that for you. Have a great day, guys. Thanks very much. Take care. Bye.